Hello everyone and welcome to another board game review from Fudce. This week, Tanto Cuore. It's the deck building card game featuring maids. Now, for those who are of a nervous disposition or are a bit offended by anime style fan service, by which I mean slightly scantily clad maids, this is not the game for you. So if you're offended by anything like that, bit of a warning now. There will be pictures of maids in this video. There's already one there actually, but she's relatively well clothed. She looks like a maid. A beautiful blonde maid, but a maid all the same. She looks like her job. A lot of the maids don't. I'll put it like that a little bit mildly here. A lot of the maids don't look like maids. They look more like, well, you'll see what I mean. Well, getting back to a game, this is Tanto Cuore. This is a deck building game from Japan. It looks like it was translated into English by Arclight Games or Japanime Games. I'm not sure exactly which because it says both on the box here. But before we get into the box, which I'll prepare a second, you can see it's just got a basic simple box. Here we are. We will work with great heart when you employ us. Yeah, Tanto Cuore is a deck-building card game for 2 to 4 players. The players take the roles of masters of a house, employ a lot of cute maids, and are served by them, while slowly filling out the house card deck. But take care, the maids can become sick or get bad habits. If the game ends, the player who has the most victory point gaining maids in his staff, or his cards, is a perfect master and the winner of the game. So this game, is the most recent influx. Well, not quite most recent. There's another one which I might get to another time in future. But one of the more recent influx of board games and card games, because it's relatively easy to produce, relatively easy to make. It's the deck building game. If you've ever played a game like Dominion, I think there's a Street Fighter game of this type as well. There's definitely a Marvel one, and you basically find deck building games for all types of things these days. Move those off shot just a moment. If you saw something down here, you'll see what's coming later. This is the most recent type of deck building game to come onto the market. This one was actually released quite a few years ago. Actually, there's been 2 or 3 expansions. That's what's over there actually. Because I've got 2 of the 3 expansions. I haven't got the Oktoberfest expansion yet. So I hardly ever play this one, to be honest, because of no offense to the people I play the games with, they're not as much into anime that I am. So this is a little bit more conventions and with anime geek friends rather than with normal Tuesday night gaming friends. And so let's get into the actual box, shall we? You can always see the box is relatively simple, and you get into it, and even more simple inside. You get a little rules pamphlet with the instruction manual on it. Again, it's not that complex. It's got a nice summary of all the cards towards the back of it. Tells you how to play it, how to set it up, different phases of the game, what each card does, and so on. I mean, how to play this game is not really going to break anyone's mind. What's going to break their mind is if they're not expecting a card. Now, for some reason, these boxes only sort half a card, or about 2/3 of a box of cards. They've only got this huge annoying space at one end. They could have made the boxes smaller, but I think the reason why they didn't was because they use this size box for other games. I think the original Cards Against Humanity probably came in a box like this as well, and lots of other deck building games do as well. So just reusing boxes, use different art on it to cut costs, which is fair enough, makes the game cheaper, so no complaints here. When you've got the cards, now, in most deck building games you have some kind of currency. This one really takes a biscuit. Love. You've got a picture of a cute maid with twin tails and a single cushion. And she's in a very compromising position, and she gives you love. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Now we get to his second set of love cards, which none of these are just one love card, so there we are. I push a box to one side, got one love cards. Tell you what I'll do, I'll get the entire lot out of the box, make it easier for me to put it back later. And we got two love. Same maid. She's now much happier because she's got two cushions. And she gives you multiple love. And you probably guessed, if you know what the game is like before. Next card, 3 love. She got a third pillow between her legs this time. And she's now a bit she's now much happier, a little bit more embarrassed, and she gives you a lot more love. There is your currency cards. Basically, you buy, well, you employ maids. It's wrong to say that you buy maids because the game calls it employ, not buy, and buying maids would be wrong. You employ maids using these cards, and I'm not going to show you what they do, what each of them must do, because those cards are bad examples. They only have one thing on them. Then you got the negative cards, like the bad habit. Scores you a -1 victory point. If you have 4 or more bad habits in your private quarters, each is worth -2. So that's one way you can screw over your opponents. There's also another bad card, the illness card. Your maids can get sick. They can get diseases. And they can be sent to bed early because they've got diseases. And if they're diseased, you can't have much fun with them. Well, they can't do much work for you. Let's put it that way. And the next set of maids I'll come to towards the end, because these maids are more interesting. But you've only got the actual cards. You got things like, I'll show you one. This is Rouge Crescent. I think it's the that one there, not that one there. There is actually another one, which is her twin. And what these cards say, this is how much love you need to employ them. This one costs 2 love. She gives you 1 victory point at the end of the game. Now these things here are what they do. For instance, draw, love, plays, and buys. You can only draw. Each card is like Dominion. You draw 1 card, you can play 1 card, and you can buy 1 card. In this case, you got 1 draw each turn. You got 1 employment you can do, and you got 1 employ. So 1 draw, 1 action, 1 employ, and you use your love to buy them. Now, this game has an interesting side effect, the chambermaid system. Now, some maids, for instance, Rouge Crescent, are classified as chambermaids. And when you chamber a maid, you get stuff. Maybe I should rephrase that slightly. When you play a maid as a chambermaid, they're no longer in your deck, so they no longer give you any bonuses through drawing them. But, for instance, this one, Rouge Crescent, I'll move her over here again. I'll move her over there so you can actually see her. This one says, for each set of 2 or 3 Crescent sisters, you have as chambermaids. There are 3 Crescent sisters, of course. You have a chambermaid, you get bonus victory points. Each set of 2 gives you 3. Each set of 3 sisters gives you 7. So basically, these ones, if you can get them in your chamber, if you can get them into your chambermaid section of your play area, you get more victory points. You can no longer draw them and get the bonus love for getting them, but you do that. And they actually cost actions to actually chamber them. For instance, Rouge costs 1. Says so there. And as you go through the deck, you've got other chambermaids, other maids. I'm not going to go through all of them. And you get some maids with other abilities, and most maids who are not chamber maids have different titles. For instance, Claire Saint-Just, that's my terrible French accent again, has the title White Maid. You can see at the top of a card where it says White Maid. And she has more of an effect than Rouge because she's not a chamber maid. When you buy her, when you employ her, she goes into your deck, and you can use her ability whenever you draw her and play her, and use her action. Now, this game also has another section of cards called the Private Maids. Now, these are unique maids. Most of these ones, for instance, there's this many Rouges in the game, but every Private Maid there's only one. And these ones have black cards. They are on a set pile, and you can buy whatever's on the thing. And when one's bought, you draw another one to replace it. And these ones are generally more interesting ones because they have more unique abilities. For instance, using a Twilight Sister straight off the bat is probably not a good idea. For instance, Tanya Petrushka. There she is. There we are. If any of your maids cause you to draw a card, you may draw an additional card. This effect can only happen once per turn. Now, private maids also go into your chamber. They're not chamber maids, but they are in your chamber, and their effect happens. And so they give you an extra effect. For instance, the next one, Milky Violet. Okay, I've noticed the picture on that one. I did warn you. If any of your maids cause you to draw a card, you gain one action. And then you got the Twilight Sisters. Nord Twilight. And we're going to find the other one. Yeah. Amber Twilight. They are black maids, not private maids. At the start of each other player's discard phase, the active player must discard the top card of their deck. If the discarded card was not a maid card, the number of cards they draw from a hand is decreased by 1. And Nord Twilight, the other twin. You may discard all but one card from your hand. If you do, send 2 of those cards from your town onto any one maid in any private quarters of your choice. So Nord Twilight gives your maids diseases. And that's not wrong at all. And so, that is Tanto Cuore. Now, again, a game when enough decks have been removed. That's the normal way these games end. Basically, once you have emptied out 2 or 3, I think it is, piles of cards, the game is over. You count up how many victory points you have. For instance, Nord Twilight is an interesting one. She's got a very powerful ability, but she actually gives you -4 victory points. You total up all your victory points, and whoever's got the most victory points at the end of the game wins. Simple as, really. And Tanto Cuore is a relatively easy to play game, if a bit questionable in places is probably the best way to say. And it actually comes with several expansions. And these are all standalone expansions, so if you don't want to buy this core set, you can actually buy Tanto Cuore Expanding the House. Now, the Expanding the House deck has different maids, different cards. Move that one out of the way a second. Apparently there's also a Tanto Cuore game on the App Store. I don't think it's out on Android yet. It might be, but if it's not, don't blame me. And again, the pictures are slightly different. Again, the love card is very different. It's got a different maid with cushions. And this one comes with the... Instead of private maids, actually comes with, if I can draw it out, cards, the building cards, like garden. You're not expanding a house with more maids, because that would be wrong, wouldn't it? You expand it by building new buildings, which give you extra effects. And you've also got the other expansion, which I'll put that to one side for a second. Vacation. This one has events, basically. When you match a certain condition, you can get an event card, which gives you a bonus to at the end of the game, more victory points. And this one, that one's got more normal looking maids like this one. This one, being a vacation, the maids are dressed somewhat less, shall we say, appropriately. I don't know why this isn't better. Well, I mean, Sophia's relatively normal. But Laura, for instance, that's not normal maid attire. And she's one of the more calm ones, actually. Would I recommend Tanto Cuore to you? Well, that depends, really, on how much you like anime and how much you like maids. And crucially, how much of people you play with like maids. Because owning this game, if you don't know anybody who will like it, is like owning a car with nowhere to go. You're just going to have it sitting there doing nothing, and eventually you'll realise you spent money and you didn't need to. But if you've got people you can play this game with, and people who would accept you for playing this game with, because playing this game with people who don't accept it will give you funny looks, go ahead and play it, because it's a great, fun game. There's also a game which I don't own called Barbarossa, which is a bit more questionable for different reasons. It's a deck building game involved with Germany invading Russia during one of the wars, with cute anime Hitler. Yes, cute anime Hitler. I leave with that interesting thought. Well, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. And next week we've got another more fun game, one of the classics, Cash and Guns. Join me again next week for that. And leave a comment if you've got a suggestion for something else I should review. But thanks for watching. My name has been Fudce. Bye bye.